Muy buenas, guapísimas, guapísimas, bienvenidos a un nuevo video del Mundo Ortega. El día de hoy vamos a reaccionar al cambio climático, al medio ambiente, en inglés, obviamente. ¿Por qué vamos a reaccionar en inglés? Pues porque yo tengo examen del medio ambiente y así practico las palabras, aprendo nuevas palabras que tengo que aprender y así lo monetizo. Hay que ser un mercenario como Davos, hay que ser un mercenario como Davos se dice. Nada, eso digo un broma, pero Davos se dice me es muy fleje. Nada, vamos a reaccionar 3 vídeos de eso para tal, porque tengo examen. Lo del examen sí que es verdad. Lo hago para practicar y así su contenido, que me gusta subir no solo contenido de fútbol, sino de cosas variadas, cambio climático, coche, deporte de motor, etcétera. Pero principalmente, como ustedes saben, yo subo un vídeo mínimo diario de fútbol. Mínimo uno diario de fútbol. Así que nada, vamos allá y nada, a ver qué nos para este. El primero es cambio climático explicado simple. Vamos a poner los subtítulos para enterarnos, pero los subtítulos en inglés. Vale, vamos a ponerlo porque si no, no practicamos una mierda. Entonces, catalán y no está en español. Vale, ya me cae mal este canal, me cae mal. Vamos allá.
This is a simple explanation of climate change based on an article in the New York Times. The average temperature on the surface of the planet has already increased 1.7 degrees Fahrenheit since 1880, which may not seem like much, but think about it this way.
Uy, está hablando en grados Fahrenheit, me cago en todo, no me voy a enterar mucho de las temperaturas, pero bueno.
The heat from human emissions is roughly equal to 400,000 Hiroshima atomic bombs exploding across the planet every single day. Future generations are in big trouble. But for now, it'll gradually continue to get warmer and storms will grow more intense, with longer periods of drought in between. But longer term, if
Cada vez como tal, estos periodos de subida de temperatura y bajada de temperatura eso ha pasado en toda la historia de la Tierra, ¿no? Pero en esta época los humanos lo hemos acelerado bastante.
emissions continue to rise unchecked, the climate disasters will be so severe they will destabilize entire nations, send millions of refugees across borders, cause widespread extinction of most species on Earth, and melt the polar ice caps, leaving most of the world's coastal cities several feet underwater. All this could take centuries, but something like the sudden collapse of agriculture would trigger immediate chaos in society. Best case is we get our act together and begin to rapidly bring emission levels down. Meanwhile, Earth turns out to be less sensitive to greenhouse gases than we currently believe, plants and animals adapt quickly, and major technological breakthroughs help society limit emissions and adjust to climate change. But these are all the opposite of what we're actually seeing, so the only thing in our control is to limit emissions using all available tools and best behaviors.
Available tools me supongo que son energía renovable. Me estoy suponiendo eso.
Currently at our disposal. Worst case, the collapse of food production causes spiraling prices, and as our capitalist utopia breaks down, billions starve as our world gets violent and
Anda, fíjate, esta imagen, una imagen parecida, está en el libro de inglés, fíjate. Sí, casi igual.
messy real quick, kind of like a zombie apocalypse, but with extreme hunger spreading chaos instead, so yeah, still just like a zombie apocalypse. This would be coupled with the melting of the Antarctic ice sheet, leading to rapidly rising seas that would force us to abandon many of our greatest cities and all of the social and scientific progress that we were making within them. Adding insult to injury is the fact that many of the emissions were emitted while building these now abandoned underwater metropolises. If emissions
Casi todas las metrópolis están muy cerca del mar, es que son gilipollas. Perdón por la palabra, pero es que la verdad.
continue unchecked, we're looking at a total rise of between 80 to 160 feet, which would occur if all the ice in the poles melted. So the oceans will rise. The real question is how fast. Scientists only have Earth's history to base their predictions on, which suggests that the rate has occasionally hit 1 foot per decade. So we'll have to adapt to an altered coastline sooner or later, but probably much sooner than later, because computer forecasts only give us a range of future possibilities. The most important evidence comes from the study of past climate conditions, which clearly show that every time the amount of carbon dioxide in the air
Eso es de toda la historia de la Tierra, ¿no? Bueno, ves, la humanidad ha afectado algo, ¿sabes?
rises, the Earth warms up, ice melts, and the ocean rises. What's important to remember here is that we are in uncharted territory. Humans are pumping carbon dioxide into the air far faster than nature ever has before us. Scientists have been publishing strong evidence that warming is making drought and heat waves more frequent, causing heavier rainstorms and more severe coastal flooding. But while the internet has made us all more aware of weather disasters in distant countries, it's hard to prove these are all directly made worse by climate change. Canada and Russia both have vast frozen lands and could see some economic benefits from a warmer climate. Putin and the Russians, and until recently Canada as well, have been reluctant to make ambitious climate commitments, but expect that to change as these countries realize they will be swamped by millions of refugees from less fortunate nations. Libertarians and other political conservatives do not like the policies proposed to fight climate change, and have chosen to try and block them by actively undermining the science. This effort has been funded by the oil and coal industry, who favor making money above all else. As more resources are devoted to solving the problem, our chances at big technological breakthroughs are improving, but we still should be spending about 3 times as much money as we currently are on these efforts, according to several in-depth reports. You can reduce your carbon footprint by doing things like plugging leaks in your home insulation, installing a smart thermostat, taking public transit, taking less airplane trips, buying an electric car, and putting
Comprar un coche eléctrico se me complica bastante, o sea, por el precio básicamente por el precio, el money.
solar panels on your roof. A big one is eating less meat. But what's really needed is for you to speak up and exercise your rights as a citizen, because strong, collective action through state and national policies is how we'll make the most impact. Considering that we've been ignoring scientists' warnings since the 80s to limit emissions, we're pretty late in the game. But we've finally reached a moment where nearly every country in the world agrees this is a huge problem and seem ready to commit to taking at least some kind of action. Leading corporations will continue to make bold promises to do their part, low-emission technologies will improve, and many states and cities will go much further than any goals set by their national governments. The United States, the world's biggest economy, is finally starting to move aggressively, and China, the world's largest emitter, is beginning to recognize that it needs to do the same, as many of its megacities will be underwater if the seas rise too high. But it's up to us, the ordinary citizens, to continue demanding our political leaders tackle climate change, the hardest problem that humanity has ever faced. So like and share this video to help it spread. A special thanks to just
cómo nosotros podemos guardando plástico. Bueno, no lo he traducido bien, pero bueno, se entendió.
8 million metric tons of plastic trash enters the sea from land every year. The equivalent of 5 plastic bags filled with trash for every foot of coastline in the world. Across our ocean, plastic trash flows into circulation, dispersed almost everywhere, but concentrating in huge swaths in the midst of global currents, breaking down into smaller and smaller pieces, ingested by species across the marine world, and sinking to the bottom of the sea.
Anyone can make plastic anywhere in the world and sell it anywhere else in the world. There's no design paradigm, there's no barriers. In order to solve the plastic packaging problem, we need to effectively rethink the entire system. From one which is linear, i.e. take, make, dispose, to one where it can be recovered and fed back into the economy as a valuable plastic material, or one where it is biobenign. The goal of the new plastics economy is to design an economy where plastic packaging never becomes waste. And to do that, we need every single player in the chain to change the way that they do things.
But marine pollution comes in many forms: industrial, agricultural,
Marine pollution creo que es contra marina, ¿no? Me supongo.
and urban waste also sweep into the sea, fueling explosions of algae that rob marine ecosystems of the oxygen they need to survive. With sustained pollution, these areas become dead zones, which already exist in more than 400 locations across the globe. But nutrient pollution can be
Espérate, en el mar, en el Mediterráneo, ¿cuáles hay? Tenemos ahí en la costa de Venecia, Italia, en la costa, sí, en Grecia y en Italia, y los Balcanes, básicamente, y aquí tenemos el canal de Suez que le va a hacer.
across the globe. But nutrient pollution can be managed through change in major contributing systems like agriculture.
If you eat, you're involved in agriculture. So it's a problem that all of us have to work together to solve. Soil health is critical for water quality. It's the first thing we have to focus on. Here on the farm, organic matter is the key thing that we try to improve. The more organic matter you have in the soil, the better the soil can hold on to nutrients like phosphorus and nitrogen. Organic
Phosphorus es fósforo, ¿no? Me supongo.
matter keeps it from leaching out of the soil. It grabs onto it, and that's good for the farmer, but it's also good for water quality in the bay. For any farmer to change their system is tricky, and it takes a lot of work. I think all farmers want to. It's learning different processes, practices that allow you to do it effectively that becomes a key.
Muy buen vídeo la formación. Te lo explica bien, te da idea. Básicamente, la principal que te da es la de habilidad de los agricultores. Y nada, vamos con el tercer y último vídeo. A ver, me he enterado básicamente de algunos conceptos y ha sido el mejor examen, sinceramente, porque si no, chungo, pero vamos allá.
Around the world, renewable energy use is on the rise. And these alternative energy sources could hold the key to combating climate change. What is renewable energy? Renewable energy is generated from sources that naturally replenish themselves and never run out. The most common source
Bueno, este video básicamente de energía renovable, que no sé si me entraron en el examen, me supongo que sí, pero puede, no que me entren más, sino puede entrar.
sources are solar, wind, hydro, geothermal, and biomass. Over 80% of the total energy consumed by humans is derived from fossil fuels. However, renewables are the fastest growing source of energy in the world. Renewable energy has many benefits. First, it can combat climate change because it creates no direct greenhouse gas emissions. The only emissions that they produce are indirect, meaning those that result from manufacturing parts, installation, operation, and maintenance. But even those are minimal. Second, renewable energy can decrease pollution and therefore reduce threats to our health. Wind, solar, and hydroelectric systems create no air pollution emissions, and geothermal and biomass energy systems emissions are much lower than non-renewable energy sources. Third, renewable energy is a reliable source of power. Because renewable energy sources are, well, renewable, they will never run out. Once built, renewable facilities cost very little to operate, and the fuel is often free. As a result, renewable energy prices tend to be stable over time. While renewable energy has many advantages, it is not without downsides. It is difficult for renewable energy sources to generate power on the same large scale as fossil fuels. Building wind farms and dams can disrupt wildlife and migration patterns and
Así bueno, ahora como te coges un día sin viento y sin sol, te quedas sin nada. Menos mal que está la biomasa y también la del calor de la tierra, no me acuerdo el nombre. Y luego también está la hidráulica, pero eso depende de la zona.
lead to ecological
Y con hidráulica no sostienes un país entero, a menos que sea un país pequeño.
destruction. Both solar and wind energy are intermittent. They only generate power while the sun is shining or while the wind is blowing. Batteries can store excess energy for later use. However, they are often costly. While renewable energy presents some challenges, it also offers an environmentally friendly alternative to the greenhouse gas emissions and pollution of fossil fuels. And as advances in technology make renewable energy more accessible, affordable, and efficient, an end to climate change could be within our reach.
Pues nada, señores, hasta aquí la parte de cuando mirando el medio ambiente para practicar para un examen de inglés. Te iba a decir que me dejara tu opinión en los comentarios. Me da igual si la dejas o no. Eso sí, suscríbete y dale a like. Pero solo si te gusta los deportes, que es básicamente mi contenido mayoritario. Pero oye, si te gustan los videojuegos también, que subo videojuegos también, pues oye, te puedes quedar, obviamente. Y nada, yo creo que poco más, señores. Recordad que sois personas válidas y valiosas. Y nada, nos vemos la próxima. Chao, 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 chao.